Hey guys, it's Marianne with Shopping Crafty. So today I want to tell you about my headshots and basically all of the don'ts that I have learned over the years so that hopefully you can avoid some of my mistakes. The tricky thing with headshots is that they can get very expensive and people who are low on funds tend to try to get cheaper ones. And I've sort of learned that that's maybe not the way to go. But I've never had professional headshots done. And I'm currently saving up to do that because I think that I've outgrown the cheap ones. And if I want to go further in my career, I really need to have the professional ones because people can tell. Industry people can tell. Your friends on Facebook and your friends in real life won't be able to tell. They'll be like, this is an awesome picture of you. This is great. But you'll also have different people pick different favorites. Like I've had pictures taken and I'll send the exact same ones, like 10 different choices to 10 different people, and they'll all come back with like different answers for what their favorite ones are. So it's really important to know what industry people are looking for and to ask industry people. A good place for that is workshops, where you get to audition for a casting director, and things like that, like acting classes, places where people actually know what they're talking about. So I have a couple of my headshots that I'll show you guys, and I'll just give you a little bit of info as I go through them. Oops. I just dropped the Total Money Makeover on the floor. Sorry, Dave. Sorry, Dave Ramsey. There you go. So, first thing you don't want to do is buy in bulk. I have so many headshots in here that I will never ever use because when I first started out, I was like, oh no, this is like a big expense. I should just buy in bulk and like I'll use them all up on my auditions, and then you don't get very many auditions because even like if you get 100, like, do you really think you're gonna get 100 auditions before you have to get new headshots? You probably won't. That would be like one audition every 3 days. I would love that if that were the case, but that is not going to happen. And I'm definitely at a stage right now where I feel like every year or two I need to be getting new headshots because I'm going from the 18 to play younger look to a more grown-up look. So I didn't know it was facing that way. Sorry, I can see the image, so it scared me a little bit. I was like, ooh, it's my face. Anyway, so I'll go from like the oldest to the newest. So my first set of headshots, I just used my high school senior picture until I went to an agency and they were like, ooh, serial killer, when they looked at it because it was too serious. Which that's not necessarily bad if you are theatrical, but this was in Wisconsin still. They're not casting anything theatrical really. They're casting commercial because it was like a local commercial like agency. So like maybe theater and stuff that would work, but it definitely didn't work for that. And so before I moved to LA for the first time, not for the first time, for the second time, that just got confusing. Before I moved to LA, I had my cousin who does a lot of photography. Sometimes she does photography for weddings and stuff like that. She's not like an official pro photographer, but she did a decent job actually. These were some of the ones I heard the least about. She did some headshots for me that were good. So this is one of those that I used for a while. I don't remember who I had print this, but I printed a ton and a bunch of them are still in here. So I definitely look older than this now. And so people would comment on that. But it's actually overall a pretty decent headshot, I think, compared to other places. I feel like usually outdoor settings for the background are a good way to go, rather than like a studio with like a blank backdrop, because the blank backdrop can often come across as like a school picture. Like I had a director from the last film I worked on do a bunch of free headshots for me. None of them were usable, even though like my family really loved the pictures, the director really loved the pictures, but he is a director, not a casting director, and he doesn't know what they're looking for, and I don't really know what they're looking for, and I sent it off to a casting director. She had actually been a casting director for The Artist, if you remember that movie. I had done an audition for her, and I sent these off and like, hey, check out my new headshots. And her intern was just like, these look like high school like photos, not even senior pictures. Like, so I didn't get to use those, which was unfortunate. And I think a lot of it just had to do with the backdrop and the setting, because it was set up like that. But yes, this was my headshot for a little while. This and another set of headshots. My cousin did it for $50, so it still wasn't free. And I had a friend when I worked on the Hulu show Battleground in Wisconsin. He also did some headshots for me for I think $100. And we got some decent photos. He liked to do a lot of like strange angles though, like from above and from below, from the side, and headshots should really be pretty straight on. Like this one has a little bit of an angle going on, I guess, because the wall has like that effect in the background, but it's not like a crazy skewed impression, because your face looks different from different angles, so we want to see what you look at the most standard understandable angle. But this was one of the ones he did that I also used for a while, so this was like my commercial and my theatrical. And I think they were both decent beginner headshots actually, but I outgrew them. And so I got those ones from my director. I didn't even get those printed because the feedback just wasn't great, unfortunately, even though I really appreciate that he did that for me. I then had my friend's roommate do some headshots for me, and that was also for $100. And they kind of turned out okay, but I didn't really like my hair in them, and I don't know, like, I guess I just didn't have great options. It's like we shot for it really quickly, and I guess we just didn't really get what I really wanted out of it. So like this was my smiling one. I always struggle with the smiling ones. Like I don't really like my smile. Like I've heard like, okay, my friend Tammy was like, that's like one of your best features. That's what you should be featuring in your headshots. And I'm like, I don't think it looks good on camera. Like in real life, you might think my smile's great, but like when it's stagnant, like, I don't know, I don't really like it. But that was one of them. And again, like my family did not like these, but these do look a little bit more like traditional headshots. But yeah, my hair, I made a huge mistake. Don't do this. I got my hair cut right before I did this. And they cut it too short, and they cut it crazy uneven, and it was a terrible haircut. And now these are just not great. I cut off again. I think that's like becoming a trend for these videos. So anyway, yeah, and I don't know if I already said this or if you saw this part, but I just don't like my smile in these. Like, I don't know, it just, I don't, like my friend says that smiles are like one of my best features, and I just feel like they don't look good on like a still shot. But that's totally me just picking on myself, I'm sure. But no, because I just feel like my smiling headshots are just never that good. I don't know. So this is another one from that set, and I almost liked this one, but I got so much different feedback just about this shirt, because it's like a sheer green, like light green color, and some people are like, oh yeah, that looks nice, and some people are like, that looks terrible with your skin. So you don't want a shirt that some people respond, like you don't want the picture to be responded to that way, and you don't want the shirt to draw too much attention away. And I feel like my nose, like, I don't know if it's like my head was like down like this or something, but it's like, it looks like a Muppet nose or something, like I should just have a purple face and my orange nose, and it's like, that would be great. And my like eyebrows are like I don't know, it's like, what am I doing? I don't know. So this is one that I used for a while just because I had just gotten those free headshots from my director, and I got these, and it's like, I need to use something, so I used this for a while. And I mean, I didn't get too much terrible feedback when I went to auditions, but I still feel like it didn't do me any favors. And this one, like, it's so creepy that, like, okay, this is a weird story, but when we first moved in to this apartment, my roommate had this, like, waking nightmare that there were people climbing up her tree outside her window, and she woke up my friend who was staying with us and had her check to see if there were people climbing the tree outside her window. And my friend was like, no, there's nobody there. What are you talking about? And my roommate was like, so convinced. She was like, can you please just check again? They're like climbing it. They have blood on their faces. And my friend checked again, and there were no people on this tree. But like that night, like the next day, after I learned this story, I took one of my headshots, this one, because I have so many that I'm like, I gotta use it somehow. I cut it out, and I put like little fangs and blood everywhere, and wrote like got blood on it, and I like taped it into her window for when she got home from work that night. And it's like, yeah, this is creepy. Like, this is a creepy, weird, like, vampire photo. So I don't use this one anymore because it worked perfectly for that joke. And that is not what you want unless you are trying to get vampire parts. But I mean, I wouldn't say no, but I don't think that's really what I'm going for. So my most recent set of photos, I've gotten the most positive feedback from that. It's been like 2 years since I had these now, too. It was another friend of a friend who did it for $100. She gave me 3 looks. I only ended up printing 2 of the looks because one of them just I didn't really like. And they're okay. And that's the problem. I've gotten that feedback. They're okay. Or they're good for now. They're okay, but they're good, but and so it's like they're so close, but they aren't just like, I just want a casting director to look at it and not think twice and be like, okay, that was a headshot. I don't want them to be like, oh, this is almost a good headshot. I just want them to be like, this is a headshot, and move on. So this is the smile one, and the problem with these, I guess this is okay. I don't really like this either. The problem with these was we shot these ones first, and the sun was incredibly bright. I could not really see, and in between takes, I just seriously like had my eyes closed, and then I would like wrench them open and smile and try to get a picture, and like this is the best we got, and it's not terrible, but I also never use this when I go to an audition because you can't really tell. Maybe you can. It's actually blurry, which is so disappointing because I don't really like any of the other ones enough, and this one is very blurry right in here, and that's right like where you want it to be least blurry. And I just know everybody would notice. Everybody would notice. Which is a bummer. So yeah, I printed like, by this time I had learned not to print in bulk. I printed like 15 each. The problem is they always, like, you get a discount if you buy like 100 or if you buy 50. But I have found a really good printer in LA called Prince Charming. It's Prince like Printz, I believe. Not like a prince, but Prince. I get it. Play on words. Prince Charming. I'll put a link below. They're really great, and they have affordable headshots, and you can do a sample print first, and you can do like 10, 15, however many you need. I did 15. I haven't used any of these because I didn't do the test print because I was like going to an audition, so I needed them like right then. But I got 15 of the other ones that I use all the time, and I still haven't even gotten through the 15 because half the time at auditions now they don't even take your headshot because it's all digital, but you still need to bring it. Oh my goodness, you need to bring it. If you don't bring your headshot to an audition and they want it, like, might as well just go home. Like, you're clearly not being professional right now, so why should we take you seriously as a professional, sort of a thing. Always bring your headshot. Also always bring a pen. Always. Always. Anyway, so yes, this one was blurry. Bummer. So this is one I still use. I'm saving up for a professional one. I don't know who I'm going to use yet. I know there is a professional service that like comes to you and you take pictures in their little van. But it's been recommended to me by several actual like successful industry people, so maybe I'll do that one. Maybe I'll just go a different way with another professional. I won't go crazy. It won't be like over $1,000. I would like to keep it under $500, but I want somebody to do my hair. I'll probably do my own makeup because I want to be able to look like myself, but I'm terrible with hair, so I probably want someone to do that. And a lot of places have it like wrapped up in the price where somebody will do your hair and makeup. So I want to go to one of those people, get a nice professional one. But anyway, this is the one I use now. And this is the one that I get a lot of, this is good for now. This is good for now. Which is funny because I feel like I don't really look like myself in this picture, and that's like supposed to be a huge no-no, but maybe this is what I look like because this is the one that have gotten that comment least on of like, that doesn't look like you. The other ones I get that a lot. This one I haven't gotten it, which is strange because, yeah, again, I don't think that's really what I look like. I think I look prettier in this than I look in real life, but I'll take it. But yeah, I really like this one, but it's also a little bit blurry right in here, so it's less of a problem than when it was on the face, but a casting director at a casting workshop noticed it and mentioned it. So it's noticeable, but it's good for now, and I'm saving up money for my next ones. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on what happens when I do save up the money and get the headshots done next time around, and who I go through and how I picked them and how much it cost, and hopefully they'll be good. It's so hard. It's so hard to do that. And to know what clothes to wear, what colors look good on you, how to do your hair and how to do your makeup, and then like once you have all these hundreds of photos to sort through, picking the ones that most look like you and like best represent everything, like it's so hard. And if you try to get other people's feedback, they all tell you different things. So I tend to just go with the advice of the most successful person in the industry in this category, because like post-production people won't know. I've learned that. They don't know. So anyway, yeah, and again, do not buy in bulk. Like, you can't even, like, it's not even, there's a ridiculous amount of headshots in here, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do with them. I'll keep, like, one of each, but, like, maybe I can just start printing on the back, but, I mean, there's watermarks, but I don't know. I need to do something and not just waste these. I'll save them for when I'm famous and then sell them for $10 a pop. No, I won't do that. But like, it's a nice thick paper, so maybe I can print stuff on the other side and use it that way to get it out of my little headshot box. Anyway, let me know if you guys have any questions or any feedback, or if you know any headshot professionals. Totally let me know below. So yeah, I don't want to like give advice that you shouldn't try to find a good deal on headshots, but just be aware that generally when you're talking to anyone who is actually a bigwig in the industry, they will be able to see through it in a second. Because it's always them who are just like, nope. Any people like student films, independent films, you can get by with this stuff. The second you go into a casting office where they cast for Disney Channel, where they cast for movies that you see on TV or in theaters, they will see through it in a second, and those are the bigger opportunities. So those are the opportunities you do not want to mess up just by having a headshot that is not up to par. And for me, I feel like I'm at the point where I'm in the union. Any auditions I've gotten in the past year have actually been for good stuff, even though they have been very few and far between. But when I do get an audition, it's usually for something good that I really want. So I don't want that to be the reason they don't take me seriously. And also, just to note, you probably noticed, like, I don't have my resumes on the back. I always think that's so weird, but I finally sort of figured out, apparently, what the reason is, because I'm always just like, why don't you just print it on the back? Why waste 2 pieces of paper for your resume and your headshot? Because I always just, like, staple it on, cut off the excess with my little paper slicer, and have it attached, like, one staple up here, one staple down here. Apparently, sometimes casting directors just like to detach it and lay them next to each other so they can look at both at the same time. And it's as simple as that, and that's the way it is. So, also, you probably know this if you've done any research. I know a lot of people still think that black and white headshots are the way to go. No. That is a thing of the past. Maybe in theater it's different, but I'm pretty sure it's not. But for film, TV, anything like that, black and white, no. That's not a thing anymore. It's just not. I could give you reasons. I could try to come up with exceptions. You might think there are, but, like, it's just, it doesn't happen anymore. It's a thing of the past. And it's such, like, an iconic thing to have your, like, black and white 8x10, but another thing, sorry, this is going to be a long video apparently. Another thing, I have seen people have headshots that are centered, like, with their face up and down this way. And, I mean, I guess you can, but this is definitely the standard. But I've definitely seen them sideways, and it's people that have gotten cast and stuff. So it's not a complete no on that. But I would say if you're going to have one like that, make sure you also have one that's up and down. What is it? Hot dog instead of hamburger. I mean, that was always with folding paper, but I just remember that, and it made me happy. So I decided to tell you guys about it. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you again soon. The camera's over there, not over there. Whoops. Bye.